Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Hashem. Akwakwadah, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to my Ak and Wak who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawako coming at you with no lesson. Slakia for my voice, but whatever, we're going to get to it. But basically, today's lesson is going to be on this topic, okay? Not necessarily this bitch, whatever her name is, whoever she is, but more specifically on a specific topic of, race wars, which let's get this precept to kind of prove that, which is incoming. Luke chapter 21 verse 10, then he said unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there's also a parallel scripture which is which talks about all the beginning of sorrows, okay? But also verse 9, but when ye shall hear wars and rumors, wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet by and by. So yeah, this is basically, but the end is not by and by, Slakia. So basically the thing is that one of the main prophecies that needs to come to pass is race wars, and you see lots of tensions brewing and growing in regards to race wars, and Jake wanting to attack. Oh, Slacky, actually I heard, oh no, actually I didn't just hear, I actually got the video in the thing and I shared it in my community tab. In this video over here,
Shalom, shalom.
KKK members shot dead in hood by YANs, which YANs is young niggas. All right, so basically this is what happened. Like a bunch of two-thirds, because the thing is that we don't say go and we don't say go and attack people randomly. But also, Slacky, I just want to point out, when you need to try to be patient with me, because, in general people, because whenever you try to do the right thing, whenever you try to do something good, there's always going to be people in your life that's always trying to mess with you, intentionally being a demon in your side. So you just have to be patient with that. Slakia. So now, continuing on with the thing, as I was saying, there's going to be race wars and stuff like that, because you see over here, this Edomite, well, Slakia, Esau has always spoken down on us, but over here, this is the big thing, where you have these Jakes, these random two-third Jakes that decided for whatever reason to kill these KKK members. All right, so I'm not gonna let the video play. I'm gonna leave the link to in the description so you can go check it out yourself. But this was definitely something that I'm not supporting anyone to go out and do it. I'm not telling anyone to go out to attack people, but I will make the observation and say that if there is anyone that two-third Jakes should be going to kill, all right, it should definitely be Edomites. Although again, I'm not saying to go out and attack anyone, but I can make an observation. All right, so continuing on, the thing about this is that, again, it's like this is the growing tension. So Jake is, slowly but surely starting to realize who their enemy is and who they really need to be going after. But at the same time, one thing that this red devil, all right, said, which he was insulting the Jakes, was that Jake, they don't. One of the biggest things about Jake is that Jake, they don't. They while they have guns and stuff like that, they don't really know how to use them. They don't do any practice. So a random Edomite that goes duck hunting or just go to the shooting range and whatnot. They're going to have aim. They're going to have all that stuff and whatnot. The practice as well as the know-how and tactics and stuff like that in order to properly and most efficiently use their weapons, whereas Jake is just using it off of pure instinct or just thinking that they're invincible because they have just because they have a gun and whatnot. And this is, hold on, because right here, let me try to get it. Slakia.
You wouldn't win.
Bear with me one moment, Slakia. Over here you have this hag talking about here. She thinks that she's not thinking. She says that Jake thinks that this is the way that you hold a gun and whatnot. When in actuality, that's that type of that's not, I guess, the most efficient way. I wouldn't know. But the main thing is just in general how you have Jake like this that has a false sense of security because they have a gun. They think that they are on top of the world. They think that they know that they're untouchable and whatnot. And so many Jakes get confused by that and think that they're tough and whatnot. But when actual trouble comes, SWAT teams and all this stuff, the military and whatnot to come and attack them, they're not going to be ready. All right. So let's continue on to get the words of Yahawashi. Matthew chapter 26 verse 52. Then said Yahawashi unto him, put up again thy sword into its place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Let me also get this. Revelation chapter 13 verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patient and the faithless saints. So basically, the main thing is that when the modern day sword is the gun. If you are taking the sword, if you're relying on that, using it as a source of protection, all right, and that's where you're going to be. You're going to die through that same mean. Let me also get this. Isaiah chapter 30. Slakia. Isaiah chapter 30. From the top, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit. Now let me also get this. I think I can't remember. Let me just violence. Psalm chapter 73 verse 6. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Esau is covered by, or protected. Covering basically means protected by violence. Okay, and the covering in Isaiah 30, the covering is the protection, but you're choosing the covering of Esau's blessing rather than YAHAWASHI. All right, let me also get this. Genesis chapter 27 verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay, so that's another aspect of it where you have Esau was blessed by Isaac with the sword being able to just be basically the best in terms of like weapons and stuff like weaponry and whatnot, carnal weaponry. Okay, Esau is the best at that, which if you see in his track record, he's always won his wars. The only time he's going to lose his war, the war that he's in, is going to be with YAHAWAH. It's going to take it takes YAHAWAH in order to put him in his place or to utterly destroy him. All right, in reference to Obadiah chapter 1 verse 18, or just Obadiah verse 18. All right, so yeah, this is another big thing where you have Jakes that think oh yeah, I have a gun, I'm protected, I'm good, I'm gonna be okay. And you also have Jakes growing hatred, growing realization as to who his enemy is. Okay, with this thing, Slocky, this is I want to say it's kind of a little funny to see this type of stuff, even though I think I can get away with saying that given in the history that Esau has with ridiculing Jake for cop killings and stuff like that.
Ends, they not their grandpas and grandmas from back in the day. They not them. Lucille, Roydale, and Aberstein, Robert Earl and Otis, they not them. They Gloctaviuses and Sharkeishas. And if you come in their neighborhood with a Halloween costume on, like you gonna scare somebody, they might just turn your ass into a ghost. I know.
Okay, so yeah, basically, that's basically what happened. Probably there's gonna be more information in the actual video because I skipped through a lot, but you basically get the point where you got these Edomites that were killed. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can get a better picture. Yeah, here you can see them. They were killed by Jakes. Okay, and this is the growing thing. It's you never really. I don't think I this is my first time in all my life that I've ever heard something like this. Something like this in terms of like specifically clans member were attacked by Jake and stuff like that. But obviously I don't know like what provoked it and all the different things, which I am curious as to what led up to it. Maybe they just saw them wearing it and then they just attacked them. Just from the sight of them going to the hood in those clans, thinking that stuff is sweet, but that's the thing in where the spirit is roused up now, and that's and again, Slocky, that's another thing where I've been speaking on a lot recently, but this is another thing that goes to show and signify that we are that much closer to the end because you see the spirit of vengeance being put on Jake to exact vengeance. Okay, so now the Lord's turning more, not necessarily completely, but turning more Jakes into hunters / turning more Jakes into his sword, all right, in order to cast his judgment on not just Jake, but not just Jake, but also Esau, Edom. All right, so let's continue on. Exodus chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord shall fight for you, ye shall hold your peace. Now this is This is a very important aspect of this when we are in the good, on the good side of Yahawadah. That's when the Lord fights for us. But when we're not on the good side, we're not on the Lord's good side, then He just abandons us and leaves us to our devices. And an example of that is this in Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 42. And the Lord said unto me, say unto them, go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest ye be smitten before your enemies. And what happened was I think there was multiple instances. There's 2 instances that I can remember when I was reading this. Was the first time they had went up to fight a war, but the Lord was not dealing with them. The Lord was angry, wroth with them, and whatnot. And then they went up anyway and to fight, and then they lost. Okay, and then another time was they knew that the Lord was not going to help them, and then they just didn't fight. I guess they learned the lesson. But also I want to get this. Joshua chapter 10 verse 11, and it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel and were in the going down to Beth Horon, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died, and they were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. It's another thing where even when it comes down to, I guess, war in general, okay, or not even just war, but fights, even smaller fights as well, okay. Speaking from experience, the victor of the match when it comes to Israel and being in sync with Yahawadah, it is decided by Yahawah's involvement. Because the thing is, like, you could be a 10-year-old boy, a 10-year-old little girl. Let's just say 10-year-old little girl. Which, by the way, I did a video on that before, where there was a 10-year-old. I think it was specifically a 10-year-old girl that had fought off some big ass dude that was robbing a store and whatnot. I don't know where the video is, but I definitely heard. Let me see. That little girl fights off, not kidnapper, store robber. Oh, 8-year-old girl. Alright, so yeah, basically, well, this is not the same one. I'm pretty sure there was another one. But basically, yeah, you just got a kid that fought off a that has a spirit that got a spirit on her to help to have victory over an enemy that is clearly stronger, that's clearly greater than her. And on that same note, we are in the same thing, because the Lord blessed Esau to, even though we are inherently physically normally naturally stronger than Esau, it doesn't change the fact that in terms of the blessings in the natural I guess circumstances, I'll say, not necessarily inherent abilities and capabilities, but the circumstances always puts us at a disadvantage where we should be losing. But the thing is that when it comes to when we have YAHAWAH on our side, then we naturally just win regardless of any inherent disadvantage. All right, because the Lord just makes it, as we read in Joshua chapter 10 verse 11, the Lord will literally just make something happen that shouldn't happen or whatever to just give us the victory and whatnot. The Lord can make it so it could be like, for example, when I told this story before in another lesson, but it's lucky. I think I have it right here. Okay, where the title is called "The Lord Fought for Me." All right, where basically what happened. Oh, never mind. I don't remember the title. Test. Okay, yeah, here. So this is a video, okay, where I basically talked about what happened, and in the lesson, what happened was, I had gotten into a fight with someone, and I don't know if you've ever been in a fight, but sometimes, like, when you just get so angry, all you see is red, and it's just like you don't have any like proper coordination and stuff like that. And as a result of that, I probably felt like I shouldn't have won. But the thing is that I got out of the fight with no real injury, but a slight little bump, I guess, which it didn't really hurt. But the person I had fought, they basically tripped. Now that I attempt to kind of remember it myself, all right, he basically tripped. I think the Lord made him trip, and then he just was full-fledged, like, bleeding on his face, because he fell face first and whatnot. And like that was a time that the Lord was protecting me and helping me, and fought my battle. All right, so that I'm gonna put the link of that video in the description so you can hear more on it if you want. But just in general, like, this is the thing to remember, that where we don't look at a fight based off of, oh, they have more numbers than us, they outclass us, they're ex-military, they're current military, they have all these weapons and stuff like that. No, and we just say, okay, you know what? If the Lord wants us to fight, then the Lord, and we're gonna fight, and we're gonna have victory through the Spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. All right. So also, we also get this, 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4, where the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. Which this is, our battle is primarily a spiritual battle. Of course, there's gonna be times when it might get carnal, where people might attack you, but but in general, it's still a spiritual battle, because it's spirits that are at work that are trying to fight you. And even then, when it comes to those carnal battles, quote unquote carnal, it's still a spiritual battle, because you have to be in the spirit to rebuke those demons, to to get them away from you. All right, because that was another thing that a brother had dealt with. I don't remember how long ago. I think last year maybe, where there was this dude that just came up in his face and was trying to. In all honesty, just speaking as man, I think he was just trying to get him to swing on him or something, because the dude just went up and just got up in his face, like all up in his personal space and whatnot, just like a freaking demon. And as a result of that, it's like the cops basically saw the dude got in his face, and they basically went and arrested him because they saw that he was being wicked, he was being a problem. All right, so Matthew chapter 10 verse 16, behold, I sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So we're not even supposed to be viewed as harmful or being able to start any type of physical altercation. It's through the spirit and power of Yahawadah, because the thing was, as a matter of fact, let me go to it in Matthew chapter 10. Okay, what did Yahawashi give his disciples? Matthew chapter 10 verse 1, and when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. So through the spirit and power of Yahawadah, we're supposed to be able to have authority over these unclean spirits that go out to try to start problems with us. All right, and again, you see the devil is so strong in always wanting to start problems with you whenever you try to do the right thing. All right, let me continue on and try my best to focus so I can be done with this. No, that was it. That was the last one. So basically, you get the thing. You get the point. With that, I pray the system was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawadah, Shemel, Shai, Bashem, Rakak, Wadash, the elders, apostles of great most on the bottom ball and Shalom.